I just came back from a vacation, so I'm a little rusty maybe. Okay, here we go. Okay, so again, here you are. This is Plan with Plan. We run these sessions monthly, so I'm Greta, I'm the community and social media manager, and this is just really my time to be able to connect with all of you and give you some advice and show you around Plan and hopefully help you out. And a little bit more about me. So again, I'm the social media and community manager here at Plan. And I'm also a content creator. I have a little over 35,000 followers on Instagram. And really, my passion is telling stories. And that might not seem to at first correlate with social media, but I think social media is all about telling stories and telling the story of who we are and who our brand is or are. And yeah, it's a great tool for us to connect with people. And I know it can feel really intimidating. So I hope that I can really simplify it for you. And that's our mission here at Plan. A few of the brands I've worked with include Billabong, Focus Feature Films, and Shangri-La Resorts. I still create content for brands every single month. And so I'm always myself trying to figure out how do I get better at social media and improve and, not only for myself, but for my job at Plan and guiding you guys. And then here are a few things that you'll need to kind of walk through this with me. So a Plan desktop account, you can sign up at the free link. And a lot of people don't know that we have the desktop version of Plan. And personally, I love it. I spend so much time on my phone that to be able to look at my social media on my laptop, it just makes a huge difference. A Canva account, you can either have a pro one or a regular one. And then the April content calendar, which should be in your inbox, or we're also giving it out as a handout here, I believe. I'm not sure how that works, but you can get it here. And if you're having trouble, just like I said, reach out in the comments and one of our amazing Plan team members will help you out. And then here's what we're going to cover. So we're going to talk about brand strategy, consistency with posting at the right time, and also consistency with aesthetic, humanizing your brand using stories, engaging with your audience via comments and mentions and sharing content, and then using hashtags the right way. And we have a very exciting announcement. So we now have auto post for your first comment. We're really excited about this because hashtags are something that can be kind of tricky, and a lot of people want to hide their hashtags, and you do that by kind of posting it in the first comment. And so now this is something we offer, and it will auto post for you. And yeah, we'll get into this a little bit more later, but we're really excited about this. And just to be auto posting in general. I did get asked a few times, do we auto post on LinkedIn and Facebook as well? And yes, we do. And now Instagram too. So, okay, we're good there. Let's go over to our content calendar. So this is our April content calendar. I'm not going to dive into this too much because we've done it a lot in our past Plan with Plan sessions. And actually I have a lot of videos on YouTube if you need further help here. But just to kind of give you an overview, if this is your first time seeing our content calendar, basically at Plan, we've designed content calendars every single month. They have these clickable links, basically. And if you click on any of the little Instagram icons, they're going to take you into Canva. This is a free template for you to use and customize. And you have one for every single day. We also give you tips for your other social media channels. So for example, on April 6th, we recommend you share a Facebook link to your mailing list or share a motivational quote on LinkedIn. So we really try and simplify planning out your socials and make it this fun thing and something that's not overwhelming. And honestly, our graphic designer, Danny, she goes all out with these templates. She really puts so much work into them, and the way she thinks about the colors and how they all look together. And there's just so much thought and love put into creating this calendar. So I'm almost jealous that you guys get to use it. We do sometimes use it on plan as well. But one of the things is keeping an aesthetic, which I'm going to talk to you about. And speaking of aesthetic, let's jump into plan. So here we are on plan. If you haven't seen the desktop version of our app yet, this is what it looks like. You have this mock-up Instagram grid here. You can also click the plus button and see it even larger, which I love. And here is where you can create a new post. We have all our other features here. And yeah, it's very simple, easy to use layout. And if it looks intimidating at all, don't worry, because I'm gonna break it down for you. So something I get asked a lot is, how do I create a cohesive Instagram grid? And I think there's kind of two answers to that question, because when you think cohesive, a lot of times you just think color and style, and making sure the fonts look right and everything just kind of flows. But there's this other part of being cohesive that I think is really important too as a brand. So I think what's super important is kind of building a strategy for the types of posts you want to implement. When people come to your page, they kind of want to know what they can expect. And if you're posting so many different things every single month, obviously do what you want, but it can maybe be hard for someone new coming to your page to really see what they can expect from you. If you go to my Instagram, for example, it's pretty clear that you're going to be getting photos of me on a beach in a bikini usually. That's the type of work I do. I do lifestyle content. So it's easy for people to decide, okay, is this an account I want to follow? Will I like their content or not? And really, you want the right people to be following you and to find you, because it's not just about gaining followers, but gaining followers that aren't, I guess, empty followers, I would call them. Followers that are really going to love your content and engage with your content and be excited for what you're putting out. So one way we can kind of get clear on a strategy and what type of content you want to implement is by first coming to our strategy tool. And if it will load with this internet in the middle of the Caribbean. Yes, I think, okay, yes. Okay, so here we have our strategy tool, and I've gone into this many times. I'll give you a quick overview if you're new. So this tool is really to help simplify planning out your social media. So these little squares here, we call these strategy tiles, and you can basically take them and drag them into your grid wherever you want them. And you can also create custom ones here. You can name your strategy tile and then select the color, which the color selection is really important if you're a brand and you have really specific colors that you use, because then you know On Friday, you're going to post, let's just say, a feature on someone that uses your product. And you know that the way your feed looks, you need to bring in like an orange color into your grid or whatever like brand colors you're trying to alternate between. This is really going to help you. It's not just like to make it, for fun, but you can use it however you want. As you can see, we really use the color. So we bring in our brand colors. So if we look at this account on the right, this is a mock-up account, but I have a lot of my own content here. We can see that it's mostly travel, lifestyle content. And so the types of posts or content I want to bring in is going to be revolved around that. So for example, a travel newsletter is something that would be good to bring into my grid. Let's see, let's just pretend I do beach cleanups. I could bring that into my grid. And let's say I sell bikinis on this account. We'll bring in product as well. Now, let's say you are completely new, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're just in a funk and like you don't even know where to start with what type of content you want to be posting and how to create a cohesive strategy. You can come down here. This is called content prompts. And we have all these pre-made strategies for so many different industries. As you can see, you can also search your specific industry here to find it really easily. So this is going to take pretty much all the work out of it for you. But if you want to get really specific, then of course, create your own. Now you can either add all of these to the grid, but I'm just going to drag and drop the ones that I want to use. I'm going to bring in the travel newsletter, the product tile, and I think that's it for now. Sorry, I'm just answering questions as well. Renee asks, is strategy only desktop? No, so strategy is not only desktop, it's also available in the app, but it is a feature for Plan Plus members. So honestly, it's a very good reason to upgrade your account just for something like this, because it really does make your life so much easier. But yeah, of course, I'm excited to show you more about it here so you can decide if it's something you feel like you would use or not. Anyway, okay, so I don't have time to like show you every single strategy tiled ad, but basically to give you an idea, I was starting from the beginning and I wanted to create a cohesive grid. I would first get clear about what are the things I want to post. Now, if you want to see what's been successful that you've posted, you can go into our analytics here. This is our results feature, and it will really give you an idea of what posts in the past have been successful for you. So you can kind of build your strategy off that. Or if you want to completely get a new game plan, you can just start to decide for yourself, what are the things that you're interested in posting? What do you want to say to your audience? What's your message? And then start building tiles around that and then bringing them into your grid. And let's just go back to create. Sorry, my computer is a little bit slow. So now that we've talked about creating a cohesive strategy, let's talk a little bit about colors, because that's a big headache for a lot of people. And I think this actually looks much more intimidating than it is. So I've brought in some of my photographs here. And then some of these photos are stock photos that actually you have access to on Plan. But I just want to show you how even taking photos that are different edits and from different photographers, you can start to play around with the colors and get like a flow going. I have another. Kian, I think your name is. That's a cool name. Can you give ideas on what to post for personal blog type content for IG? Yes, Kian. So in our content prompts, we do have strategies for bloggers. So we've already kind of brainstormed that for you and put together what we think is the best strategy for you. So check that out there. That's really going to help. Anyways, back to kind of color and design. So as you can see, I'm just going to show you this with one color. I have this feed that's a lot of like blue and white and like subtle colors. And then I've brought in a few photos that have red in them. And it would be easy to like look at this and feel like, okay, this just doesn't fit. Like, because this is the thing, I don't want people to think that having a cohesive feed needs to be boring or everything needs to be the exact same color. Definitely not. You wouldn't be able to get very creative if that were the case. It's just a matter of playing around with the photos in Plan and getting an idea of how they work together. And they can work together to make a really beautiful feed. You just have to play around with it a bit. So for example, I have this coconut photo. This was in the Maldives. I went on a trip for Shangri-La. This photo is from that trip as well. And then I have this photo that was taken of me actually in Tahiti. And you can see in this photo, I just have this tinge of red from this hibiscus, and same thing here. And you might think like, oh, why don't you put them right next to each other? But it's my belief that to create a cohesive feed, you need to create a little bit of depth. And so actually I'm going to drag that to the other side. And instead, I'm going to bring in a photo, maybe like this one. And as you can see, this photo here has no color really. I mean, it's blue. The water there is crazy blue. But this somehow balances out. And the red isn't overwhelming. It actually works. This photo here is me in the Maldives with some stingrays. And then I'll bring in, this is a stock photo. And let's bring this here. No. And this is what I love about Plan. It's really just about playing around and seeing what works. For example, like I really love the way this is looking. This I would bring here. I'm going to remove one of these photos. Okay, this is just to give you an idea. So I have this red here and this red here, and I have this blue dress here and this kind of blue here that goes with this part of the dress. Like it's just creating a cohesive feed. It's really about just seeing the details and just tying little things together. You know, photos, they don't have to look the exact same. And I mean, obviously some accounts, they want it to be, you know, very, very cohesive and they want it to be that way. But for me, I prefer having some depth and just more playing around with photos and seeing how they can work with each other. And that's what's so great about having a mock-up grid, is being able to just play around with it before you post it. now that we've talked a little bit about that. Sorry, I probably talked a lot about that, but for me, it's really fun. As a content creator, you just put so much work into creating the content and then editing it, and to think that suddenly you can't post it because it doesn't like fit the aesthetic or look super cohesive. It's just not realistic. And you know, if you plan like that, you'll just be stressed. Just have fun with it and find, you know, something that works for you. And if it looks good to you in your eye, then that's why people follow you. So yeah, that's just my little tip. I have a little like paper where I make sure I talk about everything. So what else do I want to say? Oh yes, okay, so speaking about content, one way to help create a cohesive look is by really batching your content. Creating kind of batches of content is going to help keep that flow to your photos, because you're most likely creating them in kind of the same space. When you go to edit them, you have the same vision of how you want to edit them, and like it automatically is going to make things flow together a little bit more. What I like to do is I like to plan out days where I'm just batching content. And I think this is essential, because if you're creating content every single day, you get tired and you're not going to feel as creative. I feel like it's better to just block out, you know, a day or half a day, or even if it's a couple hours, whatever you can manage, and really dedicate that time to creating content. Something that you can do is create an event, and you can go ahead and kind of create little events inside your calendar and plan for when you're going to batch content. So you can put in that you're going to do a shoot on the 10th, for example. Or if you're like a photographer, you can kind of keep track of shoots there as well. Once you batch content, you can easily keep it organized within the media folder. When it loads. Here we go. So creating a cohesive grid is also about being organized and planning ahead. It's so important. So here you can actually create collections. You just click add a collection, and then you can name your collection and decide what kind of content you want in it. But for example, if I look on my grid and I know that I've posted, you know, 10 water photos in a row, I'm not going to probably go to the beach folder and pull content from there. Probably going to, you know, come to another folder where I have other types of content and bring in something else. You could also do this by color. You could do this by individual shoots. So sometimes when I have brand shoots, I'll put like, you know, all that content from that shoot in a folder in the media feature and name it Billabong, you know, and then the date. And this just helps keep it like super organized. So when you bring those posts into your grid, it's so much easier. And yeah, that's a little bit about organization and batching content. So actually we got a question that's perfect for what I'm about to talk about, which is there a specific time to post on different platforms? So definitely, I mean, so here in our results tool, basically how Plan works is we have special analytics, so we can give you a little bit more insight than maybe just what Instagram can give you, for example, and try and really help you to gauge when the best time to post is. And you can do that here by this button here, which is your best times to post. You can also do a custom time, And then of course, now that we have auto posting, you can do that here. Yeah, exactly. So someone from my team just had a really good point, but it really depends on the platform. So every platform is different. The audience is going to be different. And so the time that audience is most active is also going to be different. And the best way to really understand when the best time to post is to either use our tools and plan that already kind of figure that out for you, or just really take some time to go through your analytics. Really see, okay, what post performed, the best, then see, is there like a commonality between them? Did I post, all of those 3 best performing posts at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday, spend some time really analyzing how your content is performing, because I think sometimes we get so used to creating the content, editing it, making sure our feed looks cohesive, posting it, and then we just kind of leave it there. But our content kind of lives on and builds a life of its own. And there's so many people's posts that they posted weeks or months ago and suddenly it goes viral out of nowhere. So you want to keep an eye on it. You want to be able to reflect on it and see, how that performed and what you can do in the future to make it perform better. Or like analytics, I think it's so easy to just see it as numbers, but really it's real people behind those analytics and that make up those numbers. And so just to pay attention to them and kind of view it like that is important. Let's talk a little bit about stories, because we've talked so much about the grid. And honestly, I really love stories. Stories is a place that I feel like has become, it's become a place where you can be more open. You can be more authentic. Obviously your grid, you can too. We've seen this in social media for the last while, but honestly, I think especially through the past year, is just people wanting more authentic content. And it doesn't need to be this huge, production. People just want to connect. And no matter where you are in the world, we've all been through a hard year and are probably spending a lot more time at home than we're used to and are missing that connection in real life. And so we're searching for that on social media. And so just to show up in that way is so important. And if there's one thing I can really instill in this Plan with Plan when we're talking about growing your visibility, right now, it's just about showing up. It's about showing up authentically and really having that desire to connect with your audience. And that's going to come through. A few ways we can do that in stories is by literally showing up, which I know makes people super nervous. I honestly always hated talking to the camera on stories. I spent a lot of time in front of the camera for photography stuff, but actually like having to go on stories and talk and be myself, it was always so scary to me. But what you'll come to find is when you start doing it more, it gets less scary. And it actually ends up being really nice. And you end up appreciating it when you see other people show up on their stories and communicate with you in that way. A few tips I have, if you are on this tightrope of you really want to start showing up on your stories and taking videos of you talking to your audience, but you're just like, can't get yourself to do it. One, set yourself up. For example, I have like a little lighting tool I use. I make sure I'm in a space that I feel comfortable and the angles are good. Like there's so many amazing tips online about, how to be more comfortable in front of a camera. But definitely, having good lighting and being, comfortable and being in a space that feel like, for me, I love having like a white background and plants and just it being like peaceful and just do whatever you need to do to get comfortable. And another tip I have when it comes to that is create like a close friends list on Instagram. This is something I used to do when I wanted to kind of speak on my stories more, but I didn't want like my whole audience seeing me speak on my stories. I was too nervous for that. So I just created a group of friends, but also people that I kind of knew, but not super well, but I would feel comfortable with them, seeing those types of stories from me. And I just started testing it out on that. And, with practice, you start feeling more comfortable. You start connecting with people, and that feels good. And, those are a few of my tips. Obviously, don't force yourself to be on camera if you really don't want to, because, that comes through the screen. But if you really want to give it a try and you're just nervous, which makes sense, just try kind of dipping your toe in. And then I'm sure you'll find that it's really rewarding actually to show up in that way. And, that's a way to just grow your visibility authentically, is just by showing up more. Of course, we have to touch on the fact that you can schedule your stories as well. A lot of people don't know this, so you can actually do that here. So scheduling isn't only just for grid posts, it's also for stories. And again, you can bring in your strategy to stories as well. At Plan, we recognize that stories are really important, just as important as the grid. If not, sometimes even more so, because it's up for 24 hours and you have the short window that you can really catch your audience's attention. If you are really not wanting to show up on video on stories, another way to kind of bring that human element to stories and humanize it is by taking some photos. So you can batch some photos. Here's me pointing. And I edited this. So I basically cut my background out. I added this little palm, nice house background. This is actually a cover for a reel, but I wanted to bring it in here to give you an example. Here is our Plan with Plan promo. And again, it's just me holding a phone, smiling. But this translates in a different way than if it were to just be a graphic with the text. You actually get to see me. You see, who's going to be teaching you and walking you through. And that makes a big difference for people to connect with you. Let me take a little pause because I've gotten a few more questions. A question from Kelly. Is there a way to repost a popular post or maybe the same words with a different picture? Yeah, definitely. So I think this is good too, because, you might have a post that performed super well in the past, and then it's been a while and you have, a new audience or new followers, and, you want them to also see that post and you want to kind of give it a second life. So a good way you can do that is by repurposing it. So you can try it on another platform. If it was popular on Instagram, for example, try, bringing it over to Facebook. It's super easy to do this. I'm kind of going off topic here, but let me show you really quick. For example, oh no, let me go to post it. Okay, this account here, it's really just for Plan with Plan and to test things. So I don't know what the last post we published was, but for an example, you would come here to these three little dots. You'll see after you've posted it on Instagram, and then you'll see repurpose. You'll click that, and then it's going to repurpose it either to LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever you choose. You'll come over here, click on the icon that says Facebook or LinkedIn. You'll see it there, and then you can automatically post it from there. It's just going to change the crop and like the format a little bit to fit that platform. But yeah, definitely, if you're proud of a post and how it's done, you can definitely repurpose it and bring new life to it. You can, do something like put a different edit on it. We have editing features in Plan. You could, like you suggested, turn it into a quote or play around with the text a little bit. So definitely. How often should you show up on stories? Yeah, that's a good question. So right now it's recommended that you show up on stories every day, which I think is important. And then for the grid post, really, I'd say 3 to 4 times a week. I mean, whatever you can manage. The most important thing is about being consistent. So, whatever you can consistently post is good. Yes, that was my little take on stories. Let's kind of move along here into engaging with your audience. So a lot of people don't know that when you post something, the first hour after that post is published, it's super crucial for how it does. So if you're getting a bunch of comments, it's really important that you are actively replying to people and liking comments, not waiting the next day to do it, but actually, showing up, posting it, and really taking time to communicate with people who are liking it. As I said, this is a mock-up account, so we don't currently have comments on here, but here in our reply feature, you can reply and like comments straight from the desktop or on the app, but you can do it all from Plan. And this is really great to just be able to also go through your past posts, make sure that you've engaged with people commenting and liking it as well. And I guess when it comes to commenting back and replying, I would just say it's really important to be genuine. I know it's a lot, like sometimes you're just like, I have no idea what to say back, but really try and be genuine when commenting back to people, because that's going to make a big difference in your engagement as well. And it's going to make a big difference in how the algorithm pushes out that post, and also just with your followers, because they want to connect with you and, be genuine and say what you mean. And yeah, just that's kind of, I don't want to even call it a trend, because I don't think it's a trend. I think it's here to stay. It's just being more authentic on social media and being more yourself. Here you can also, in mentions, see what you've been tagged in. So this is a great way to keep up with who's been tagging you in post, and then being able to, comment on them and like them and share that love back. And lastly, let's look at hashtags. So a feature that is very kind of a mystery for a lot of people, which honestly is a mystery sometimes. Hashtags can be complicated, but we really want to simplify them for you. So when it comes to hashtags, it's great to have a few different hashtag sets and to kind of rotate the ones you use based on what you're posting. I'm going to quickly show you how to create a hashtag set. So you just put the name here. So for example, if it's a hashtag set you're most likely going to use daily, I would name it daily, for example. Put your hashtags here, and then you can save your hashtag set or copy them or clear it if you no longer need it. You can duplicate your sets here. This little blue thing, I can't think. Sorry guys, it's almost 9 p.m. here, which is late for me actually. Anyways, this is going to tell you how many hashtags you have in each set. And overall we have 205 hashtags, 14 sets. So this is where you can organize your hashtags, keep them all here, and bring them in when you need them. And that's relatable because with our new feature, add first comment, which we're really excited about, you can go straight into that feature by clicking this little hashtag icon. From here, you can click which hashtags you want to bring in. And then this is going to auto post your post and the first comment to your post when you click auto post. Why is it important to put hashtags in the first comment? Really, honestly, it's a preference. Everyone's different. Some people prefer to post it in the caption, which if you do that, I would recommend using our spacing feature. And then also we usually put a few little dots if there is a caption here. That's going to make it so they're not the first thing you see in the caption. But posting it in the first comment is a really great way to hide it and just make sure that it's not taking away from the content you're posting. You don't want it to be super distracting. Hashtags are important. We know they help bring new audiences to your content. We know they're necessary, but sometimes they can be a little ugly, honestly. So we want to kind of hide them, and we can do that by putting them in the first comment. Again, no shade if you like to put it in your caption. It's totally your preference. You can still hide them in your caption, and we help you do that as well. Also, if they're in your caption, we can help kind of pull the analytics from them to see how they're performing. But yeah, are you guys tired of hearing me talk? I'm tired of hearing myself talk. We're almost at time. We have about 10 minutes. Why don't we, let me put up my little screen. Why don't we jump into questions? So this is your time to really ask me any questions you have for the next 10 minutes. I will try and help you as best as I can. As I said, my computer, well, my Wi-Fi here is a little bit slow, so I might be a tiny bit delayed in the questions I'm getting. But I will try to be helpful. Okay, here we are. Nice to see you guys again. It's hard to see the comments when I'm in my zone talking about plan and giving advice. I got a question. What type of content would you put up for a wellness center? And again, sorry if I'm a little delayed in these in answering these questions. A wellness center, I feel like the audience you build with a wellness center, they're people that obviously care about their health. They want to improve their health. They're coming to you for kind of expert advice. So I think posting little, tips on your favorite wellness products, you could try collaborating with some brands that you love to kind of bring them forward You know, talking about, I mean, what wellness are you into? Is it, you know, mental health? Is it physical health? There's so many, you know, places you can go with that. And I think that's actually a really fun kind of company to create a strategy for. And there's a lot of things you could do. I would definitely recommend, you know, play around on like Pinterest, for example. I mentioned this in my last YouTube video, but audit other accounts. So find accounts that inspire you or that are kind of in that same community and audit them, which means you just really, you know, take some time to go through their posts to see, you know, what kind of content they have, what's performing well, what resonates with you. That is really going to help you get a better idea of what feels right to you to post. Someone asked, how do you basically mix like reels and videos when deciding what to post? So honestly, reels is just having such a hot moment right now. I would definitely, you know, prioritize reels. I think, you know, it depends on what kind of videos you're posting. If it's, you know, long form videos, you know, I would think about maybe, you know, going onto a platform like YouTube, for example, or IGTV. But honestly, Reels is amazing for getting that organic reach and engagement right now. Will there be a replay available? Yes, there will be. Don't worry. If you're registered here, you will get the replay sent to you. Georgie asked if I could elaborate on the content calendar a little more. I opened the 1st of April and it's a giraffe. Yes, so those are just stock photos. Those photos are just there as fillers. You can put whatever photo you want where that giraffe is. You can change the colors of the templates. They are really just skeletons for you. So you have a foundation to work off of. That's really what we want to give you with our templates and our content calendar. Sorry, there was a bug with my new plant comes bugs apparently. Tania, I hope I said your name right. Is it true that you have to post daily to get more views, likes, etc.? You know, honestly, it depends. There's been kind of something weird with stories where it's like if you take a little break and come back, some people find that their engagement kind of spikes. You know, these things are always changing, and that's why I said, you know, it's just so important to play an active role in keeping an eye on them, and that's why the results feature and plan is really helpful because you can get a bird's eye view of all your content, see how it's performing, and then you know, really start to customize your strategy to that. And with social media, honestly, it's a lot of trial and error. So kind of have to find what works for you. But most apps reward consistency. You know, they want you to be on the app as much as possible. And if you are, then more likely than not, they're going to push you out more. I have a few questions on my phone as well. Tara asked, do hashtags work in stories? Yes, you can actually hide hashtags in stories. So you can add the hashtags in, just copy and paste them in off plan. And then from there, you can basically hide them with like a sticker. That's a really good way. So you're still like getting that reach from them, but you're not seeing them. It's so cool too, because I love seeing everyone giving advice to others in the chat. It's so cool because, you know, we can all help each other. And obviously these are just my tips and our tips at Plan, but I'm sure all of you have some great tips as well when it comes to gaining visibility on social media. How did you edit your stories? We have an editor within Plan. We also have a partnership with Canva, so we create a lot in Canva as well, and then it comes straight into Plan from there. If you're interested in removing the background, it might be a pro feature, but in Canva you can remove the background. I think it's in Effects. You can Google it, I'm sure, and I'm sure there's a video or something on it. Kennedy asked, what is a BTS? So BTS stands for behind the scenes. And this type of content is really great to just show your audience a little bit of what you do and what it looks like behind the scenes of your job. So let's say if you're a photographer, that might look like, you know, having a friend or a family member film you doing a shoot and, you know, posing the model and editing the photos. It's just giving a little bit of like an inside look as to what your job looks like or company. Okay, it's almost time, you guys. These sessions, they go by so fast. It's crazy, but I look forward to them every month now. It's just really great to connect with you guys on here. Let me share my screen again. And sorry, I was offline, apparently. Oh, weird. Okay, it's not loading this slide. It's probably because I'm on a deserted island. Anyway, I'll just tell you. So check your email because we're going to be sending you out a cool downloadable, and also we'll have the replay for you if you missed some of this Plan with Plan. Also, we do have something really exciting coming up. We are going to start doing a series called Plan Offline. This is our time just to get together as a community, pour a glass of wine or a tea, whatever you prefer. And it's where someone from our community is going to come on and talk a little bit about what they do, what they're an expert in. So our next Plan Offline, our first one actually, will be April 15th at 7 p.m. PST. We are doing this with Heather from Craft and Cluster. She is a wine expert and a wine photographer, and she's going to be teaching us a little bit about wine and her job as a photographer in the industry. So I'm excited to have these types of events to just really connect with you guys more. I hope this was helpful, And thank you so much for coming. Again, Autopost first comment out now. Check it out. Also, we will be doing our plan playlist. This is where one of our team members hands over their playlist that they love to listen to while they're working, and we share it with you guys to listen to while you plan. Everyone's saying wine, wine. I know, I'm really excited for this as well. So yeah, our plan playlist this month of April will be Emma. She's our amazing content editor. She shared her favorite songs and podcasts that she listens to. So I'll be posting that in the stories. Thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate you from the whole plan team. Thank you for being here. And come connect on Instagram. I'm over there. Come shoot me a message. Let me know any other questions you have, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye, guys.